Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. In today's video, we're going to take a look at some updates in the Ripple versus SC case. A couple different tweet threads coming from Ben Armstrong from Bitboy Crypto, Johnny Deaton kind of covering some stuff going on from Jay Clayton and Gensler and Perkins Coy and so on. Also, Johnny Deaton talking about what's happening at Consensus. Digital Asset Investor have posted a couple videos and clips of people speaking at Consensus, and it's actively going on. I think it's like day 2 right now. And then some updates from Blockworks, Watcher Guru, CoinDesk, and then we're also going to cover Cointelegraph's article on Do Kwon alleged 80 million withdrawals before Terra fallout triggers mixed reactions. So coming over here, looking at CoinGecko, we're currently sitting at a $1.25 trillion market cap, currently down 3.5%. This downside, I've been kind of looking at what's going on in the markets. Obviously, CPI data came out talking about I think we're at like an 8.6 in inflation. So there's been talks of 75 basis point potential increase getting ready to happen. So obviously, markets tend to react negative to that, us being over projected inflation rates. So obviously not only, other markets, but our market has been affected by that. As you can see, Bitcoin's under 30,000 now. And there's been conversations from TA guys, fundamental analysts, and just community members that's been talking about, us potentially ranging in this 30,000 range for some time. I guess they say 30,000 is the new 6,000. So only time will tell, but obviously we're having a little bit of downside here. And as you can see, Bitcoin's at 29,282, Ethereum sitting at 1684. XRP sitting at 38 cents, so down 3.7%. Ethereum's down 6%, and Bitcoin's down 2.7%. So looking at the gainers, I don't know what that is. Some sort of stable coin, I'm assuming. Neutrino USD up 9.5%. Bitcoin SV 4.4. So very, very small gainers. Coming over here to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, it's going to update in about an hour and a half. So I can definitely see this being lower than 13. Granted, what we just talked about with CPI data and inflation rates, the potential talks of a 75 basis points increase, and kind of where we're sitting. I think we're sitting at an 8.6 if I'm not misspeaking here. But yeah, I definitely see this coming down. We're going to still be in this extreme fear range. I'm wondering if it's going to be 10, potentially get to single digits. Obviously, you can see we were in the 10 last week. So only time will tell. We'll see this update here in an hour and 30 minutes. Starting with James K. Fallon here. He has an update here. It says the Ripple defendants have filed under seal the reply to Amici request to participate in the Dalbert challenge. The Ripple defendants have also filed a letter stating that its entire reply should be public. He continues, what this means is that the documents filed by the SEC and by the Ripple defendants will remain under seal until District Judge Torres decides what should be public and what should remain under seal. XRP Crypto says Ripple has nothing to hide, so they rarely ask to seal documents, unlike the SEC. And that's a great and fair point that he makes there. And clearly Ripple, Bragg on the House, and the entire team have tried to be completely transparent for years now, trying to do things the right way, try to get the right answer so they know how to proceed forward. In the light of following the laws, whatever laws is there. Obviously, regulatory clarity isn't there, but just give us the information that we need so we can, proceed forward and be by the book. So clearly this statement is absolutely correct. It's like they have nothing to hide, so why seal some things? Moving on here, James K. Fallon has another one. It says the SEC has filed a letter requesting that the court seal a portion of Exhibit A to the Ripple defendants' latest filing regarding the insufficiency of the SEC's response to the foresaid request for admissions. Ripple does not object. XRP Crypto says Ripple is actually reasonable with the SEC, wish they would reciprocate the same energy. I mean, don't we all? Ben Armstrong had put this up, and I think this is quite interesting. I wanted to talk about it for a second. So this is Ben Armstrong from Bitboy Crypto, massive crypto channel. He built a massive crypto community and, has a lot of success. Hats off to him. He says, I found something out this week about the SEC Ripple case that blew my mind, literally stunned me. XRP Army would be quite interested. This truly may be the end for the SEC. He says, XRP hashtag abolish the SEC. So I'm kind of feeling indifferent about it. And I know, just based on, Ben Armstrong going on his shorts and making his videos on his way to church, I kind of view his videos every now and then. And I remember catching one where he was talking about, people kind of getting on him about being wrong about his, inside information that he had and, his predictions on when the case was going to end, where XRP was going to go, whatever the case is. And quite honestly, for him to put himself out there the way he does, I highly, I tip my hat off to him, because that's a lot, to not only, to put your face out there and cast your predictions or your judgment on where the market's going to go, to have a massive following like that, to have millions of people, kind of look up to you, and to be wrong about something. I mean, I can only, imagine what kind of scrutiny and stress that puts on him. But, with that being said, he has said, multiple things, going throughout the years that didn't come to fruition. And, to see, this, I'm curious to see what this information is. I want to know if it's relevant, if it's true. But I know there's a lot of people that's kind of been hating on Ben over the time in regards of him being wrong on certain things. And just like, I just want to just speak my mind on this and be like, personally, like, I tip my hat off to him. I mean, he does a lot for the community. He, constantly updates multiple videos all the time. He's trying to do everything in his power to build into this blockchain and this crypto space, and truly step forward and trying to help as many people as he possibly can, while still, fitting his own agenda and trying to accomplish his own goals for him and his family. So hats off to Bitboy Crypto. I'm wondering if this information is true, if it's relevant, whatever the case is. I'm kind of curious to see, what's going to come about this. XRP Crypto says SEC has no choice but to settle the XRP lawsuit in Ripple's favor unless they want all of their corruption exposed. So I highly recommend you come down and start reading some of this. You get some interesting takes. And clearly this channel, the Crypto is Key channel, is literally just a conversation based on the topics that I present. And it's kind of like my viewpoint or my sentiment on the market of kind of what's being presented. So I just wanted to share my insight on that. Shout out to Ben Armstrong. And I don't know why I'm not following him. I got multiple accounts on this. So yeah, show some love to Ben Armstrong there. So right here, this is Johnny Deaton. We're gonna listen to this first and then read what Johnny D has to say. But he's responding to Wheezy X right here. Wheezy X is talking about Senator Gillibrand says Chairman Gensler and Chairman Benham both agree that Ether is a commodity. Why is Gensler so afraid to say it in public? So let's take a listen into this.
Todd Phillips from the Center for American Progress had this to say. He said the status quo would be better than this bill. So many of these tokens are securities and need to comply with the regular, usual securities laws, and this bill tries to create a special crypto-specific disclosure regime that I don't think discloses all the information investors need to fully evaluate whether to purchase a security. What do you have to say to that?
I think he's wrong, and I don't think he's spent enough time with the bill or the industry or the regulators, and we have. And so we believe that, as we've said, a great deal of this is going to the SEC. Most cryptocurrencies go to the SEC. The particular Bitcoin and Ether would be certainly commodities, and that's agreed upon. That's agreed with Chairman Gensler as well as the chairman of the CFTC.
So Johnny Deaton says he knows he said the opposite. Clayton met Gensler in March. Gensler was aware of the March 28, 2018 meeting with Perkins Coie and ETH investors and Hinman. Clayton met with Gensler again the day before the lawsuit. A deal was made. They picked the winners and the losers. So just dropping on him, Johnny Deaton. Continuing on here, Johnny Deaton speaking on what's happening at Consensus. So it says, at Consensus and listening to Joseph Lubin answer questions. The moderator is from the Novogratz Galaxy Digital. Clearly, they are paying attention to Twitter and the claims of token concentration in the disguised wells as they move to proof of stake. He continues, Joe Lubin was asked about the comment by Gary Gensler that Joe owned 10% of Ether from the Genesis block and was asked if he would disclose how much ETH he and Consensus owns. Joe declined providing his or Consensus holding, but did say it's never been close to 0.5%. 3 other interesting comments. 1, Joe claims he hasn't accumulated any more ETH since the Genesis block, but Consensus is accumulating leading up to the merge. 2, he was asked if he has any concerns about token concentration from the different addresses or mechanisms on how people acquired the ICO, and he said he has zero concern with what he knows. 3, he joked that Galaxy Digital may have accumulated ETH. So it's crazy. It's crazy that that Joe Lubin, Consensus, all the stuff that's been surfaced in this so-called ETHgate scandal and this Ethereum free pass stuff, it's like it hasn't been investigated. And clearly, especially with Johnny Deaton in a class action lawsuit, You have Jason Foster and Empower Oversight, fighting the good fight, trying to do the right thing and trying to get the information out there. But like until, whether it's Congress or whatever, governing body or position of power can drop an investigation on kind of what's going on behind the scenes, behind closed doors, it's like all this stuff is just going to continue to pop up, but, just sit there and just irritate, the investors and the people that are affected by it. But I'm really, I am so interested to know, the ins and out of everything. I think it would be, one hell of a movie, or you can say a documentary or whatever the case is. It'd be sick if they made it all into a movie. If the truth was out, right? We had all the facts, the ins and outs, who was involved, who did what, how much was accumulated, how much money was spent, all that stuff. And they made, this sick documentary or this sick movie. I mean, I think it would be a hit that would literally go down in history forever. Especially knowing, based on what we know, seeing, crypto and digital assets, paving the way, for the future. Interesting stuff. I want to thank Johnny Deaton for all the good work he continues to do and, putting up great tweets, kind of updating everybody on kind of what's going on. In Digital Asset Investor, if I come over here, I think I'm going to go there real quick. So on Digital Asset Investor, he has a couple videos that I retweeted as well. People speaking at Consensus by CoinDesk. So I highly recommend you come into DAI's tweet threads here, or his homepage here, and start looking at some of this stuff as well. Moving on, Blockworks, Mastercard CEO. We want to make buying and selling crypto as easy as possible. We love to hear it. We love to hear it. Watcher Guru, just in, Janet Yellen says she wouldn't recommend crypto for most retirement savers. It's a very risky investment. Absolutely, it's a very risky investment. But if you look at we can say Bitcoin alone, you look at it from the past decade plus, it's the highest performing asset in comparison to the other asset classes out there. So it's why wouldn't you, take that risk? I mean, I'm not saying that you have to risk your entire retirement, but it's why wouldn't you want to take some of that risk on? Right here from Blockworks, Fidelity CEO. I see crypto winter as an opportunity to double down and go extra hard into crypto. And for those of us that's been in crypto for some time, I've been in since late 2017, that's had some experience from the ebbs and flows of the markets, been through a bear market, been rugged pulled, just have a lot of experience in this space. I 100% agree. When the times are like this and we are, in extreme fear, everybody's fearful, all crypto's going to zero, it's a Ponzi scheme, it's a scam. That's the time where you really just start unloading what you're able to unload. Obviously not investment advice. I'm talking about what I'm doing personally, but it's whatever you're able to unload and accumulate and dollar cost average, get into solid projects that, you've vetted or that you've done your research on, that you have high conviction on. This is when you really become a winner. And quite honestly, I've had my experiences getting, buying when things are super low, hodling until it starts reading price targets. And then I've been very successful in a couple of my investments in this space. So that's huge. This is from CoinDesk. Mastercard is now offering its cardholders, I think it was billions of cardholders, the ability to purchase NFTs without having to first purchase any cryptocurrency. That's huge. That is absolutely huge. So I highly recommend you come into CoinDesk and read through this article if you're interested in that. And here's an update from Cointelegraph. It says Do Kwon's alleged $80 million withdrawals before Terra fallout triggers mixed reactions. Right here it says analyst Michael Vandenpoel said that the Terra founder deserves jail. Compared Kwon to fraudster Bernie Madoff, who was jailed after running a Ponzi scheme. So coming out here, this is Nicholas Boulay. It says hashtag Do Kwon isn't Luna Classic, so LUNC, and will never be able to control the outflows of his assets again. That being said, this man has played the investors and cost people their financial safety and needs to feel the wrath of the community. Decentralized. While there are many who call for jail time, some disagree with the sentiment. President Badi tweeted that they disagree, saying that, quote, nobody puts casino owners in jail, implying the investing in the asset was a gamble. Following this Twitter, Druad Andrew also said that Kwon didn't do anything that violates criminal code. I'm curious to see. I am so interested in kind of what's going to be the ins and outs and everything. I understand that where Do Kwon is, I forgot where the location is. It was South Korea. I know they're doing an investigation, right? Yeah, started to investigate Terraform Labs. So I'm curious to see what's going to come out of everything, and I know there was talks in the community and on Twitter in regards of did the whales get bailed out and the little guys were, left holding the bag type stuff. I'm curious to see how all that stuff's going to play out as well. interesting stuff that's, and I'm saying interesting with respect to, I know there's people that's been hurt. I've been completely hurt and decimated in some of the stuff that I've invested in as well, kind of taking a gamble on certain things. I want to pay my respects to that because I know that there was a massive fallout in regards of what happened with the Terra Luna and UST depegging and the collapse. And I also know that, people actually took their lives and stuff, lives were lost. So paying respects to that, of course. But I think, when it comes to, stuff like this, whether it's a scandal, just tragedies like this, massive crashes in the markets, rug pulls and the stuff that's going on with, Library and the SEC, ETHgate, the Ethereum Free Pass, Ripple versus SEC. Like, I'm so interested into to know the ins and outs and see how everything was operated. Because as you can kind of see, as things start unfolding, especially within the XRP community, and when it comes to Ripple versus SEC stuff and kind of what's been surfacing, it's you can see that there's cohorted efforts by Cointelegraph, for instance. We're talking about social media platforms or just media platforms in general, big industry players, people with a lot of money, investors, government officials. You could just tell that as things are pieced together, you could see oh my goodness, this thing is, it goes deeper down the rabbit hole than we thought. And that stuff is super intriguing to me, just to kind of see. And I like I said earlier, I would love to see, some massive documentary or a movie coming out of just all the craziness that's happened, as this space continues to mature and go on over time, because it's stuff that's going to be, in our history, for those of us that's been around and that's been here, in the earlier days. It's our history. As much of a lot of it sucks and it's kind of like the growing pains, as they say, it's going to be a part of our history, and I think it's quite interesting. With all that being said, I'm just going to say this. Like I always tell you, you got to make sure that you're doing your best to protect yourself out there, okay? It's about you and your family and loved ones, doing what's best for you. Protect yourself out there. Do your research. Don't follow your favorite influencer. Just vet things yourself and research things yourself and take the risks on yourself and take that responsibility yourself if things go bad and if things go good. I want you to come and make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to continue to bring great content, just having a conversation, what's going on topics that's going on in the space, covering a lot of the key points, especially when it comes to Ripple versus SC stuff. Come to Twitter and follow us at CryptoIsKey1. I'd really appreciate it. We're going to continue to grow these channels. I'm really excited to see, the path that this channel takes, and to see kind of where we go from here. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.